When we offer this supplication, we are first giving the praise to Allah Almighty. Then after that, we are expressing the sentiments of a worshiper, a supplicant. And then after that, we are begging Allah, supplicating to Him that incorporate us and include us in your special favors, in the people who have had special favors. We are asking Allah for guidance, for the ability to remain steadfast on that path. So when we are considering Surah Fatiha, which is essentially seeking goodness from Allah in every salat, we should also learn and incorporate the Istikhara prayer into our daily lives. And what is important here is, if we look at the life of the Holy Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, it was so commonly used, the Istikhara prayer. It was so often used that the Holy Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam would teach his companions the Istikhara prayer just as he would be teaching his companions the 5 daily prayers, the obligatory 5 daily prayers. So Hazrat Muslim Maud states that Surah Fatiha is essentially another form of istikhara, or seeking good. The only difference, Hazrat Muslim Maud states, if there is one, it is that when reciting Surah Fatiha, for every issue, every incident, every aspect, we are seeking goodness. However, istikhara, we focus in on a specific matter that we are asking Allah in guidance for. And so this is one difference between Surah Fatiha and Istikhara. So essentially in Islam, the root of every prayer, or the root of worship, is Istikhara, is seeking goodness. And so Hazrat Muslim Maud states that some have started to consider that when we are seeking goodness, or when we are doing Istikhara, or even doing Surah Fatiha, that we consider it necessary then that we hear a voice, or we have some kind of a revelation, or we have some kind of a dream. The question Hazrat Muslim Maud asks is, do we seek the same thing after reciting Surah Fatiha? Absolutely not. The result is that whatever we are about to do, we are asking Allah Almighty in Istikhara, the specific prayer, not Surah Fatiha alone, but the specific the specific Istikhara prayer. We are asking Allah Almighty to make whatever we are thinking of doing or seeking Allah and His guidance for, that we are able to carry it out without any hurdles. And if there are hurdles, to remove. Essentially, in Istikhara, we are asking for success. We are asking that if this action that we are about to take is good for us, that Allah make it blessed. He opens all the doors and removes the hurdles that exist. And that the action that I'm about to do is under your protection, and is in accordance with your desire. And so it is essentially the matching of the prayer is that our desire matches with your desire. And just as you desire for me to walk on the straight path, I too want to ultimately come to that path. And so if this specific matter that I'm seeking guidance for is in line with that, then make it happen and make it so that it becomes easy for me. An interesting analogy, that when we are talking about a master and a servant, it is not necessary for the master to give a verbal consent for every aspect, whether he should do something or not do something. At times, the mere silence in asking of the master means consent. And so this is important to understand, because it is not important for us to receive some kind of a revelation or a dream when we are asking for help from Allah in guidance of a specific matter. What is important is that we achieve a sense of tranquility, a sense of peace as a result of this. Rasul states that if a person goes and meets a friend for the sake of meeting the friend, and for the sake of getting together, and the happiness, the joy that a person gets from meeting a friend, then obviously the friend of his, is going to treat him to some kind of snack or food. However, if a person goes specifically that I want to go meet my friend so that I'm able to get some food, then that person would not be considered a true friend, essentially, and would be considered a very low a person in the totem pole of friendship, for example. However, when he has the intention of going and meeting the friend, and he, as a result, is also fed food, then obviously he takes both benefits. In the same manner, the person who does the istikhara prayer with the specific intention of Allah Almighty revealing something to me is doing so erroneously, because that is not the purpose of istikhara. However, if he is going specifically for the fact that I've mentioned before, that it is to seek goodness from Allah Almighty, to seek guidance from Allah Almighty, then at times Allah Almighty also, of course, grants him food and grants him spiritual delights as well. And so it is not necessary to receive revelation or dreams in response to istikhara. On 26th of December 1941, during a jalsa speech, a companion of the promised Messiah alayhi salatu wasalam, we all know very aptly, Hazrat Maulvi Sher Ali Sahib, who translated the Holy Quran into English, gave a very resounding and a profound speech about the du'as of the promised Messiah as well. And in it, he described the promised Messiah والسلام, would pray before every important action. And that prayer was the istikhara prayer of the Holy Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And so in our time and age, we see that when it comes to marriage, when it comes to work, when it comes to any important moment in our life when we need to decide one matter or another, this prayer should be employed, the istikhara prayer. So now, finally, what is the method of doing istikhara prayer? There are certain steps that need to be taken on what is the masnoon way, the way the Holy Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam would offer the istikhara prayer. First and foremost, a person should do wudu in order to purify himself. The second step is to know that it is offered in nawafil, in 2 units that we do, such as 2 nawafil before Maghrib, or tahajjud prayer, we do 4 2-unit rakat. And so we do 2 rakats of nawafil, preferably at nighttime, right before we sleep, which means that we have already offered our Isha prayer. We are completely ready to go to bed. And before we head to bed, we do wudu, we get ready, and we do 2 rakat. Now, what do you pray in those rakat? It is in the first rakat, the first unit of prayer, we say after Surah Fatiha, we recite Surah Al-Kafirun. In the second rakat, we do Surah Ikhlas. And then once we are sitting in the last qada, the last place where we are doing At-Tahiyyat, we recite Istikhara prayer. And at that moment, we have to make our intention clear of the matter that we are seeking guidance for from Allah Almighty. We should focus on the decision that we are seeking guidance for and the intention to seek Allah's help in this matter. And so this should be right after the Istikhara prayer during At-Tahiyyat, as I've mentioned. During this process, we should understand that it is extremely important for us to have full faith and trust in Allah Almighty, and that it is up to Allah Almighty to grant us guidance and to make our matters clear, and to make our matters the hurdles that may fall, the pitfalls that may come as a result of taking one direction or another, that Allah removes those pitfalls, and that it aligns, as I've mentioned, with the will and guidance and desires of Allah Almighty. Now, what is the istikhara prayer? Translation of this prayer is that your knowledge, this matter, meaning then you mention the matter, is good for me in my religion. my livelihood and my consequences of my affairs, then ordain it for me, facilitate it for me, and bless me with it. And if in your knowledge, this matter is bad for me, in my religion, in my faith, my livelihood, and my consequences of my affairs, then turn it away from me and turn me away from it and ordain for me the good wherever it may be and make me content with it. And so in these words, we offer the prayers. And so in a final point, let me reiterate that istikhara, meaning seeking khair, does not mean istakhbara, that we are seeking some kind of a news or a revelation. And as a result of istikhara, Allah Almighty grants the seeker sound judgment and the satisfaction of heart. And so I hope and pray that Allah Almighty enables us to understand this beautiful prayer, to learn this beautiful prayer. Inshallah, I will share it with you tomorrow on islaminseattle.com. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.